The protagonist, 12-year-old young Percy, played by Azriel Dalman, is introduced to us in the opening scene of Percy Jackson and the Olympians Episode 1. It has been discovered that Percy's tendency to daydream and, more lately, his experiences with magical entities are making it difficult for him to focus in class. Percy's mother has fostered a profound passion for Greek mythology in him throughout his upbringing. Because of his visions, Percy needs to see his school counselor frequently. Nevertheless, his counselor thinks these are made up. Grover, Percy's only buddy at school, is also introduced to us. They get along well since they are both reserved and teased at school for being unusual. Percy visits the Metropolitan Museum of Art with his friends as part of their school excursion. Grover is being tormented by a bully as they are traveling. In an attempt to assist the girl, Percy accidentally pushes her into a fountain due to his undeveloped magical powers. He is also attacked by Mrs. Dodds, a ghostly woman. It does not take him long to discover that he is the only one who can see the woman. Percy has also been experiencing images of a minotaur, but he dismisses it, concluding that it's all in his head. Nancy Bobofit mistreats Percy as Mrs. Dodds chastises him for losing self-control. Mr. Brunner then deceitfully gives Riptide to Percy, disguising it as a pen. Afterwards, Nancy pushes Percy over the edge, and he draws her into the water with the streams from the fountain. This gives Mrs. Dodds a clue as to Percy's true identity, and in a move that is at once sophisticated and horrifying, she turns into Electo the Fury. He manages to unintentionally kill her with his sword despite her onslaught.
Is he dead?
Everyone go.
Didn't anyone just see that?
No one here by that name. But in this case, the snake saw you, Mr. Van.
Percy tells the principal, Mr. Brunner, played by Rick Riordan, that he didn't touch Nancy. However, Grover betrays him by claiming to have witnessed the entire incident, which results in Percy being expelled from Yancey Academy and having to return home to the apartment, where he must put up with Gabe Ugliano's presence while also trying to persuade his mother that he did not do anything wrong. Percy visits his mother and stepfather in Manhattan. Their interactions make it evident that Percy and Gabe, his stepfather, do not get along well. Soon afterward, Percy's mother Sally suggests that they go to their cabin in Montauk. Upon arriving at the cottage, Sally informs Percy that he is half-blood. She also assures him the stories she told him about Greek mythology are true. She goes on to inform him that Percy is a demigod because she had an affair with his godfather at the cottage. Percy finds it difficult to believe his mother at first. But then his pal Grover appears, and at this point, he's obviously a goat from the waist down.
All to pick up your welcome home gift. About it? Something I'm wondering in.
Percy and I are leaving from...
Who's Yancey? Am I okay with this?
Because on my sandwich and yours.
It's on my sandwich?
Not if you're...
Could you take your shoes off before...
It's getting angrier, so...
Grover begins by identifying himself as a satyr and says he has been tasked with watching after Percy. He also tells him that in order to protect Percy, they had to go to the camp. One of the season's central themes, the complexity of heroes and monsters, is furthered in this poignant moment from another flashback, which features young Percy and his mother Sally. In particular, they talk about Medusa, who Percy believes to be the antagonist in the story of his namesake, but Sally quickly corrects him by pointing out that not everyone with a heroic appearance is a hero. Furthermore, not every monster is terrible. Percy and his mother travel to Montauk following a dream in which they see an enigmatic figure wearing a rippling black shroud and holding a lamp, warning them to stay away. There are a few adorable moments between them when Percy gives her a shoulder slap after cheating to win the race into the home and then turns to leave. Percy tells his mother, "I'm used to the world feeling weird to me. Like a puzzle with half the wrong pieces," he remarks. Sally does her best to explain what's truly going on with Percy after hearing him recount what happened to get him expelled from school, beginning with the account of how she first met his father. Sally chokes on the word man a few times before acknowledging that his father is actually a god and not a man at all. "You fell in love with God?" Percy asks. Like Jesus, the moment Grover shows up and reveals himself to be a satyr, the episode's conclusion quickly draws near. The last struggle starts when the Minotaur lands, and we are just as powerless as Percy to witness Sally try all within her ability to get her kid to safety.
That's the boundary.
Only child. Don't worry, miss. Anyone or anything that comes for him.
Taking control of the situation, Sally makes Grover promise that he will bring Percy to Camp Half-Blood. As expected, Sally faces the Minotaur with just her bravery and the red clothing her kid wore. She transforms to gold dust while she's in the monster's hands. For Percy, it's a tragic scene. Enraged, Percy takes Riptide out of his pocket and launches himself. Despite his lack of expertise in this arena, he uses his instincts to outmaneuver the Minotaur, and fate lends a hand to help him finally defeat the beast. It's a violent and exciting moment when he breaks off the Minotaur's horn and stabs it through the head. As campers round Percy, he flickers in and out of consciousness. We also catch the opening sentence of Annabeth's speech, but we don't get a good look at her yet. She declares, "He has to be the one." Chiron scolds Annabeth, saying, "Hush. Welcome, Percy Jackson, to camp. You've been anticipated by us." Before Percy faints, a blurry image of Mr. Brunner in his original form appears on the screen.